చేస్తాను 4:30 that video 1 second sir అన్నా
Hi, I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Perfect. So, yes, welcome to DurgaSoft. Today we are going to start new batch on MySQL. And as you know, this is our first demo. First, before getting into the topics, let me introduce about myself. I'm Divya. I have about 8+ years of experience into data analytics. Currently, I'm working as a senior data analyst in one of the MNCs in Hyderabad. I completed my master's in data science and I have teaching experience in all the data science subjects like MySQL, Tableau, Power BI, Python, statistics, and machine learning. So with DurgaSoft, I'm working with MySQL and Tableau. Okay, so this is a course content which we are going to cover in our course. Course duration is of 35 days. Starting from today, 35 sessions will be the course duration. Generally, classes will be taken from Monday to Friday. And yes, the timings will be 6 p.m. itself. And till the end of this class, I'll explain the course content which we are going to cover in this course. But before that, today let's talk a little bit about the introduction of SQL. Okay. So before understanding about what is SQL, usually what is the, I'll get students I'll get mixed students, like, already who are working with SQL. Some students in every batch, I'll get already the working professionals who are already having experience with SQL, who are looking forward to, brush up their skills, or who are looking forward to learn some advanced concepts, or some students who are from non-IT background, who they are completely new to SQL, and some students which are freshers basically. So who are freshers basically. So according to, keeping that in mind, I will teach everything from scratch, like starting from what is data, what is SQL, everything from scratch to the very advanced concepts here. Okay. So if you are okay, you can just tell me about yourselves a little bit. Like, are you from IT backgrounds or non-IT background? Do you have any prior knowledge on SQL? If you're comfortable, you can unmute and you can speak, or else even you can just type it in chat box. No problem.
Hey, hi Divya, this said Vinay.
Hi.
Yeah, actually, I have completed my 3+ years of experience in front-end development. Currently,
Okay.
I'm trying to totally convert it into data science field.
Okay.
As I know, I have basic knowledge on SQL, Tableau, Power BI, and Python as well.
Okay.
Just I
Nice.
need to upskill my knowledge to deep dive, like totally advanced topics.
Okay. Okay. I got it. Fine.
Thank you.
So yeah, thanks. Yes, Manish. Yes, Vinny. Do you have any? Do you want to
Yes,
talk
yes,
anything? Yes.
yes.
Go ahead.
Divya, how this is useful for me, like in place of 3+ years of experience, like SQL, MySQL.
Right. So actually, as you know, I can say SQL is like a backbone for complete IT industry.
Yes.
Whatever domain we choose, definitely will work with SQL. And as you are saying, you are looking forward for data science or data analytics, SQL will be, it will decide how perfect we will start, or how perfect we will found our foundation, I can say. Like, definitely we will deal with data, right? We need to work with databases over there. So SQL is, of course, the tool we are using here is MySQL, but the concepts all are same. It's about SQL concept only. Whatever database you may work in any company, it's okay. The concepts will be same, and definitely we will learn every concepts here. Like to the till the advanced, very advanced concepts, everything will be covered here, which will help you to and going forward, not only 3+ years of experience, as I said, 5 and 7 years of experience candidates also will attend my sessions actually, so that in a better way we can they can learn perfectly. SQL is definitely going to help you come, especially if you are into data analytics, and of course, in any other domains also, if it is full stack, even for testing, everywhere SQL will be useful.
Okay, got it, Divya. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So let me start. Before understanding about what is, and as I said, keeping everyone in mind, I'll teach everything from scratch. If anyone is, if anyone is attending from, maybe if they are from non-IT background, by keeping them also in mind, I will explain detailing everything in the first or second class. Like, what is SQL, what is data, I mean, why data is important, what is databases, everything we will discuss in detail. Okay, so before understanding about what is database and what is SQL, let's talk a little bit about the importance of data. Okay, of course, we all know that we are generating lots and lots of data nowadays, right? From many years, last few years, especially, we are generating lots of data. So let's discuss about the importance of data. Why we need to learn databases, why data is becoming so important, so prominent role in our daily life. Obviously, we know, if I talk about generations, previously everything was made man-made. We know that, right? They used to write every detail in files and all, right? And then computers came into existence, as we know. Once computers came into existence, they used to store the data in computers in the form of Excel files or text files, right? The thing which you can see on my screen is an Excel file. As you know, we can store all the data in Excel files also, right? Till some years, they used to maintain the data in Excel files. Gradually, databases came into existence. Databases, nothing but the place where we can store all the data, right? So why databases came into existence? In the sense, the usage of data is being, we started generating lots and lots of data, especially, I can say, maybe from the time of demonetization. We know overnight we started making digital payments, right? Till then we used to make cash payments, and once demonetization happened, we got used to we started using digital payments, like maybe Google Pays, Phone Pays, and Paytms, right? Whatever we are doing online, whatever transaction we are making, behind what is happening, we are generating data only, right? Like to which account, to which person we are sending, what amount, how much amount we are sending, everything is saving in the form of data only. And especially from the COVID pandemic, right? We started depending more on the online, right? We started doing online shopping, we started learning everything online, we started doing work from home, so we started watching OTT, OTT platforms, whatnot. We are even we are using so many social media applications in our smartphone. By using our smartphone, whatever we are doing daily, we are nothing but we are just generating data, right? For example, if you purchase anything online in Amazon, what will happen at the back end? The data is generating, right? Like, I purchase something, definitely how the data will be saved in the I mean at the end of the at Amazon's end, or in their database. In the sense, definitely we will store customer details like my name, my address, and product details. What product I bought, from which seller I bought, right? And the amount of the product, right? So everything will save in the form of data only. It can be customer details, order details, right? Product details, supplier details, everything will be saved in the form of data. So whatever we do online today is nothing but we are generating data. It can be making any bank, or we making any transactions, we are purchasing anything, watching online movies, or watching anything, right? Even if we are using any social media applications, it can be Instagram, YouTube, whatever it is, we are generating the data. So as much as we are generating the data, as we are generating lots and lots of data, lots and lots of data every day, definitely there should be some good systems to maintain all this data, right? Because of course, as you said previously, many years ago, they used to use Excel files only to store the data. Then why databases came into existence? In the sense, obviously we have some limitations with Excel file, right? Maybe in a couple of days, we will discuss about what are the limitations of Excel file and how we overcome each limitation by using databases. Okay, we have some problems in Excel file, like for example, the limit to store data in Excel file is 1 million rows. If we wanted to store more than 1 million, we can't store them in the Excel file. And one more limitation is, maybe I'll explain in a while. Like that, we have some limitations in Excel file. So as we have some problems, some limitations in Excel file, databases came into existence. As we discussed now only, if you're talking about any applications like Amazon, Flipkart, they will have to store lots of data, right? They can't store each and every data in Excel file. So that's where, as we are generating lots of data, databases came into existence. So basically, what is databases in the sense? I can say place where we will store the data, or else collection of data, I can. Okay, we will store the data collectively inside the database. Generally, what will happen? First, we will create the database. Inside database, we will create tables. Let me write it here. First, we will create database. Inside database, we will create table. Inside tables, we will store the data. Okay. So database is nothing but place where we can store all the data, where we can maintain all the data. Then what is SQL? As you know, the full form of SQL is structure query language, right? But what is exactly SQL? To make you understand clearly, if anyone from non-IT background, I'll just take one example to relate the things for you very easily. Okay, example. Suppose consider this is one school or college maybe. Okay, let's take this is a school where I'm talking about some 10th A section. Previously, when in our school also, they used to maintain some kind of registers to maintain the attendance previously, right? So here also in this example, consider that this is one school, one class. They are maintaining one register, physical notebook kind of register to maintain either student details, I can say, or attendance, maybe something like student ID or roll number. Okay, ID, student name, okay, maybe their attendance or maybe their marks, like that, some details they're storing in this physical register. Okay, one day what happened? The principal of, just a second, let me close all these things. So one day the principal wanted to see the performance of the student. And what he did, he called his peon and he said to his peon that go to this 10th A class and bring the register for him so that he can check whatever data he wanted to. So this peon understood what principal want. He went to the class, he took the register and he gave back to the principal. So that whatever principal wanted to check, he can check in this register. Okay. The same example, instead of storing the data in the physical registers, suppose let's think about this as a big institute where they have thousands of students. Okay, something like JNT University where they have so many students, and instead of maintaining physical registers, they are maintaining database to store the data. Okay, maybe a big institute, instead of registers, they are maintaining the database to store the students' data. So in the same scenario, like previously in this scenario now, if they store the data in the databases and when the principal wanted to see the data which is stored in the database, in the previous scenario, in the previous example, what principal did, he called his peon and he said to his peon that go and bring the register for him, right? So while saying this point, he might use some language, right? It can be English, Telugu, Hindi, whatever it is. He definitely used the language to communicate with the peon. Then only peon understood that principal want register and he just get that to him, right? So in the same way, if we store the data inside database, and whenever principal wanted to see or analyze the data, here also he should use a language to communicate with the database, and that language is nothing but SQL. However, principal used some English language to communicate to the peon that he wanted to see the register. Here, if the data is stored inside a database, principal should use SQL as a language to communicate with the database. Whatever data he wanted to see, he should use, he should, in SQL, we have some syntaxes, we have some queries, going forward we will learn. So definitely he need to use that, and according to that queries, he can get the data. Okay, so SQL is nothing but a language which we will use to communicate with the database. Am I clear? Exact definition of SQL is nothing but it is a language used to communicate with the database. Okay. So SQL full form is structured query language. And what is SQL in the sense? It is a language which is used to communicate with the database. As we store data inside database, whenever we wanted to see any kind of data, we need to definitely use SQL as a language in between to make understand database exactly what we want. So we are basically communicating with the database by using this language SQL. And here I said that we are going to learn MySQL. Then what is MySQL in the sense? First of all, SQL is a universal declared language. Okay, the concepts what we have, all the concepts are from SQL only. But in the SQL, we have so many tools in the market. Okay, so we have so many tools out there like MySQL, Oracle SQL, SQL Server, PostgreSQL. Like we have so many tools in the market. Some companies will use some tools like MySQL and Oracle SQL are the tools from Oracle company. SQL Server is a tool from Microsoft company. Like that, we have so many companies out there, and we have so many tools out there. So whatever I just gave as examples, whatever tool you can use, the concepts will be same. The concepts will be from SQL concepts only. Just it's like if you know how to use a smartphone, you can use OnePlus phone or you can use Samsung phone. It doesn't, it won't make much difference, right? The same thing. The databases, these are different tools. The tools user interface can be different, but the concepts will be same. If you learn MySQL, even you can work on SQL Server also with the same syntaxes. Okay. The reason why I am choosing MySQL to learn here, in the sense it is an open source platform. Open source platform. That means it is freely available for everyone, and because of that reason, most of the companies, even if it is small companies or MNCs, everyone is preferring to use MySQL nowadays because it is an open source and they have some extra features, some extra options in settings, so that which help to keep the data in a more protective manner, which I'll discuss later going forward. So because of these two reasons, most of the companies are preferring to use MySQL. But as I said, whatever tool it can be, the concepts will be same. Even the same syntaxes, the same logic you can apply for SQL Server also, Oracle Server also, Postgres Server also, no problem. Okay, like that. And as I said, first we will create the database. Inside database, we'll create the tables, right? So let's take one example of one table here. Suppose I wanted to store the details of employees. So my table name is employees, and every table is a collection of rows and columns. So here I'm storing some data like maybe employee ID, employee name, salary, maybe date of joining. Okay, and I'm entering some data here randomly. So employees is my table name. And as I said, every table is a collection of rows and column. Okay, that is nothing but Vertical thing is called as column. Horizontal thing is called as row. Okay, that is, here I'm having 4 columns. Okay, so employee ID is one column, employee name is one column, salary is one column, date of joining is one column, and I'm having 2 rows of data. This is first row of data and this is my second row of data, like that. Okay, am I clear? Whatever I explained so far, is this clear? Right. So, and we have something called as RDBMS. That is nothing but relational database management system. Relational database management system. That is nothing but we have something called as DBMS. Maintain every database, we will use this DBMS techniques only. And what is RDBMS in the sense? SQL always runs on RDBMS technique. SQL always runs on RDBMS only. So what is RDBMS in the sense? Just a second, let me just connect my charger. Right. So what is RDBMS in the sense? So as I said, in database, we will store all the data inside tables, right? So if the tables are related to each other, if the tables are related to each other, we will say that SQL is following RDBMS technique. That means whatever data we are storing inside these databases, we will store all the data inside tables and all the tables will be related to each other. So how we will create the relationship between the tables, we will learn going forward by using a concept called as foreign key. Okay, we will see about it later. But if the tables are related with each other, then will say that SQL is following RDBMS technique. So definitely SQL always follows RDBMS only. So definitely whatever tables we will use inside SQL, all the tables should be related to each other. Okay, there should be a connection, there should be a relationship between the tables. Definitely. And how we are going to create relationship going forward, we will see. And the concept we use here is foreign key. Going forward, in the next classes, we will learn about this, how we will create the relationship. Okay, so this is about the basic idea about what is database and what is SQL. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me at this point. And if everything is clear, I'll just start explaining about MySQL tool. Let's see the user interface of MySQL and let's try to create our first database. Any doubts, anyone? All right. So once we are done with demo classes, I'll show you the installation process of MySQL. Okay, no worries. I'll show you the step-by-step process. For now, after opening MySQL Workbench, this is how it looks like. We need to click on this local instance. Just a second, let me close some files. So this is how it looks. And if you see here, we have something called as schemas here. And below schemas, whatever you can see here, this is nothing but the list of my database names. Okay, the list of the databases we can able to find here. I'm having so many databases in my system. That is the reason you can able to see all these names. But usually whenever you install, you can able to find only sys database. Okay, and immediately once you install, once you create any database, that database name you can find it here. Okay, and this is the place where we will write all the queries. This is, we'll call it as editor page or SQL file. Okay, so to open an SQL file, and before that, this is a menu bar and this is toolbar, right? We have some options over there as Of course, in every Excel file or however we have the options, the same menu bar and toolbars. So to open a new SQL file here, we have two options. Either I can click on this file menu, new query tab, second option. If I'm just clicking on it, you can able to see I opened a new SQL file here, right? Where I can write all the queries. Or else we have a shortcut that is the first option in the toolbar, this icon, first icon. Okay. If you are clicking this icon also, we can able to open a new SQL file. Let's check. You can see, right? Like that. Here we will write all the SQL queries. And as I said, this is a list of databases. Below, this is the information section actually. After creating any table, if we are selecting any database, any table, about that data, about that information, you can able to find in this information section. I'll show you in a while. And this is the place where we will write all the queries in SQL file. Inside that file also we have some options here, right? The first icon is nothing but, see here we will write some queries. After writing any queries, we can save this file into our system. To save the file, we have second icon here, save button, normal save button wherever you can find in all Excel files and all. So just to save this file, we will just click on the save button and you can just save by giving any name. Okay, like this in any folder. And if you wanted to open already saved files, you need to click on the first icon, that is folder icon here. I'm just clicking here. I can open any file like this. Okay. So the first icon is to open already saved file. Second icon is to save this file, right? And the third button is an execute button. After writing every query, we need to definitely execute to see the output. So this is the execute button. To see the output, we will basically execute the queries, right? So this is the execute button. Okay, for now, these three options are enough. And remaining this, we will see later. And at the bottom, this is output section. Okay, we can find the outputs here in this section. Okay. So that's it. This is the database names. You can see the list of databases. This is the information section. This is SQL editor. And here, this is the output section. Okay. This is the basic user interface of MySQL. And as I said, after a couple of days, once we are done with demo classes, I'll show you the installation process of MySQL. No worries. Okay. Now, as we understood about the user interface of MySQL, let's try to create our first database. Okay. Just publish. Okay. Right. So let's create our first database. Before that, let me explain some points here. So as I said, SQL, full form of SQL is structured query language, right? And what is SQL in the sense? SQL is a language which is used to communicate with the database, which I explained just now, right? Which is used to communicate with the database. Right? Usually inside database, we will store all the data. So I can say database is a collection of data, right? So we can store data inside any database, and SQL we will use as a language to communicate with the database, right? I explained just now previously only, whoever attended, whoever joined the session just now, let explain about database and SQL very clearly by taking one example. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask me, or else you can just watch the video. Once it is done, this same session video will be provided for you to your mails. Tomorrow morning, maybe our admin team will send you the mails where you can find the video also. Okay, and we have something called as comment in SQL. Okay, so basically we have single line comment and multi-line comment. Single line comment, multi-line comment. So what is comments in the sense? If we write anything inside comment, that is non-executable. That is, if I don't want to execute anything, I'll write inside a comment. Okay, for example, as if you see, I wrote here some notes, and before that I used one symbol. That is nothing but this is not, I don't want to execute this line. This I'm just writing as a notes for our future reference, right? So that is the reason I'm writing it inside a comment. Okay, single line comments, we have two symbols, either this symbol, whatever I used already, two hyphens, or hash. Anything you can use. Even instead of this, you can use hash also. That is also considered as a comment only. Whatever we write inside it, that is non-executable. Even some queries also, some code also, if you don't want to execute, you can just keep it inside a comment like this. Like if you might already know, if you are from IT background, in every programming language we have this. Like in Java, in Python also we have comments, right? In the same thing. Okay, so this is single line comment. Then what is multi-line comments? In the sense, in multiple lines, if we wanted to keep multiple lines in a comment, then we need to use the symbols. And the symbols of multi-line comments is hash, star, and you can write whatever you want, how many lines you want, and star in hash. So this is the start of the comment. This is the end of the comment, right? Hash star, star hash. The same in Java also we'll use the same, I guess, right? So in between you can use whatever we want. So this is a multi-line comments. In single line, if you wanted to mention comment, either you need to use this icon, I mean this or this symbol. Okay, this is about. And one more important point here, MySQL is case insensitive. Is you can use uppercase or lowercase, no problem. Anything is fine. Okay, it is case insensitive. Okay, and yeah, these points are enough for now. Let's try to create our first database. Okay. So first of all, we have something called as syntax in SQL. Syntax is nothing but you can consider it as any rule or formula. We need to follow particular syntaxes for every concept here. Whatever we do here, we have some syntaxes. We need to follow that. Okay, so for creating database also we have syntax. That is, the syntax is create database, database name. Okay, this is the syntax. Create database, database name. So let's create our first database, that is create database. I'm giving database name as SQL 6. As this is 6 p.m. class, I'm giving it as SQL 6. This is my database name. Okay. If you observe up to here, for every line, I mentioned it in comments. But this one I wanted to execute. That is the reason I didn't use any comment, any symbol here, right? So whatever we wanted to execute, we will write normally. If whatever we don't want to execute, we'll write inside comments. Okay, simple. So this is by database name, that is SQL 6. So now let me execute this. To execute this, we need to select this and we need to click on this third icon, right? Now you can see at the bottom, we got in the output section that green color tick mark. If you see like this green color tick mark, that means it executed successfully. And if you get any errors, you can see red color cross mark, which I'll show you later. Okay, so this is how we'll create a database. Create database name. We need to select and we need to execute. To see this database name in this list, we need to refresh once. This is a refresh icon here. Beside schemas, you can see. I'm just clicking on it. Now you can see I got my SQL 6, right? We have a small, what is this? Triangle shape of a small icon here. If I'm just clicking on the symbol, you can see these options. In every database, basically we'll have these 4 sections, that is tables, views, stored procedures, and functions. Okay, we will learn all of them, but first for now we are concentrating on the tables. Okay, this is how we will create the database. After creating the database, we need to activate the database. Activating the database in the sense here, you can see I'm having so many databases available, right? So currently I wanted to use SQL 6. I know that. But to how come how come SQL understand that I wanted to use this particular database? To make SQL understand which database we wanted to use, we need to activate that particular database. Usually in real time, we don't do this because we'll work on only one database, that is our client's database, right? But as this is learning process, we may have multiple databases with us. So every time before using any database, first we need to activate the database, then only SQL will understand that particular database we wanted to use. And the syntax for activating the database is use database name. Okay. Simple. Use database name is SQL6, right? So I'm just selecting use database name is the syntax to activate the database. Now observe, I'm just executing this. Now you can see it got highlighted, right? Previously it is light color, but now it went into dark bold color and it got highlighted because now I activated this database, and from now whatever syntaxes I execute, SQL will execute all those syntaxes inside this database only. Okay, like that. Every time before starting using, we need to activate the database and we need to start working on it. Okay. So we understood how to create the database. We understood how to activate the database. And now let's create our first table. So as I said, for everything we have syntaxes. For creating table also we will have a syntax. Just now, previously in an Excel file, I showed you one example of a table, right? Employees table. Let's try to create the same table. Okay, the table name will be employees and let's create 4 columns in it. Okay, so to create table also we have a syntax, that is, let me write it as a syntax for creating table. Okay, so create table name. After giving table name, we need to use parentheses or brackets. We'll call them as parentheses technically. So within the brackets, we need to give the column names. How many columns we wanted to use? Here I wanted to give 4 column names, but as this is a syntax, I'll just give like this: column name 1. And for every column name, we will give a data type. What is data type? I'll explain you in a while. Okay, for every column name, we will mention some data types. So after that, another column name, like column name 2. And for that, one more data type. Okay, like that, how many columns we want, that many columns we need to do, and for each and every column we need to mention the data type. Okay, comma, like that. How many we want, that many. This is the syntax. Create table name, and within the brackets we need to mention column names and their data types. Okay, now let's create a table for employees. Okay, employees table, the same columns. Let's take, we have 4 columns, right? Employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. Let me give the same name. Employee ID is my first column, employee name, okay, salary, date of joining. But not only column names, we need to give the data types also for each and every column name, right? So, but before understanding, before writing the data types here, let's try to understand about what is data type. And let's get back to this create table syntax, okay? Now, let's see what is data type actually. So, suppose here in this Excel file, you can see I'm having some columns and I already entered some data here, right? For example, I'm having salary column. Okay, in the salary column, instead of 65, if I write something else like hello, okay, it is just accepting. Excel file is accepting whatever I'm writing here. It is not saying me that, okay, this is salary column, you need to enter numbers only, you entered some textual data. It is not giving me any warnings, right? This is the main drawback of the Excel file. Whatever data you enter anywhere, it will just accept. It won't throw any errors. It won't throw any warnings that you are entering some wrong data, right? If you enter any irrelevant data, any wrong data, it will just accept, right? Which is the biggest drawback of Excel file. So to overcome this drawback, we came up with the concept called as data types in databases. Data type. Data types is nothing but data types will only decide what kind of data we can enter in any particular column. For example, this is number, right? So for numbers, we have different data types. I'll just explain you in a while, or else first let me get into it. So basically, what is data types in the sense? Let me write the definition. So data type will decide what kind of value, what will decide what kind of values you can enter in any column. Okay. Data types will only decide what kind of values we can enter in any column. So how many types of data types we have in a sense? First is numerical data type. Okay. This numerical data type again divides into two types, that is int and float. Okay. Next, character data type, character or string data type, both are same. We have again two types, that is char and varchar. And next we have date time data type. Okay, date time data type. In this also we have two types. One is date data type and the second one is date time data type. Let me show you one picture just a second. You can see we have mostly, we will use this data types only. One is numerical data type. We have two types here, int and float. Int is nothing but we can store only numbers like 1, 2, 3, normal numbers. Float in the sense, along with the numbers, we can store decimal values also. Okay, if I'm giving normal numbers inside float, if I'm giving normal numbers also, it will accept. If I'm giving decimal values also, it will accept. Okay. So in character or string data type, usually we will enter textual data. We have two types again, char and varchar. So what is char, what is varchar, what is the difference between them, in which scenarios we'll use what, I'll explain going forward. Okay. Next, we have date and time data type. Again, in this also we have two types. That is, if I wanted to store only date, I'll use date data type. Along with the date, if I wanted to store time, then I'll use date time data type. Okay. So let me just write some a point here. Int stores numbers. Okay. We can able to store numbers in integer data type. In float, we can store normal numbers and decimal values also. Okay. In character, we have char and varchar. And let me explain one point here. So whenever we are defining character data, we define size also. Okay. What is this? In the sense, I'll explain you detailedly by taking one example going forward. Okay. Next, date time data type. As I said, we have two types, date and date time. If I wanted to store only date, I'll use this. Along with date, if I wanted to store time, then I'll use date. But we need to follow one format, that is first year, then month, then date. Definitely we need to use this format only. Complete 4 wise, that is like 2025, like that, complete year, then month, then date. If we use any other format like date, month and year, it won't accept, it will throw us error. Definitely this format only we need to use for date. And for date time, format is year, month, date, and then hour, minute, second. Like this we need to use. Okay. First this and then hour, minute and second. If you wanted to store time also, then we need to use this format definitely for date time data type. Okay. So now we understood about the data types, right? If we wanted to store numbers, we will use integer. If we think that we can expect decimal values also, we can define float as a data type. For characters, either we can use char or varchar. For dates, only date data type. For date and time, date time data type. Along with these three, sometimes we may use Boolean also, Boolean data type. Usually we have only two values, that is true and false here. Okay. Very rarely, mostly we'll use this three data types only, but this is the data type which we have. Okay, Boolean data type. So now as we understood about the data types, let's get back to our table creation. I'm just copying this. I'll write it at the bottom. Okay. So let's try to give data types for all these columns. Create table name is employees. For employee ID, definitely we have numbers in it. I'll give int as a data type, right? So for employee name, that is a character data. So either we can use character, char or varchar. And now I'm using char. I'll explain about difference. I mean, what is char and what is varchar in a while. But for now, I'm using char. Okay, but I said one more point here. Whenever we are defining character data, we will define size also. What is that in the sense? How we will define size in the sense? Suppose after defining char, use brackets here and I'll define some size. What is this in the sense? I am using char data type and I'm defining size as 10. That is here each size will occupy 1 byte of memory. Every byte of memory will, this 10 is nothing but I'm allocating 10 bytes of memory here. 10 bytes of memory I'm allocating to employee name column. Okay. And each byte of memory will take each character space. That is, I can enter up to 10 characters only in employee name column. As I gave 10 as a size, I can enter up to 10 letter word only. If I'm entering 11 letter word, 12 letter word, it won't accept because I'm allocating only 10 bytes of memory for that particular column name. So that, and I can enter up to 10 characters only. If it is 4 letter word, 5 letter word, anything is okay up to 10. If I'm giving some 11 letter word, it won't accept because I'm allocating only 10 bytes of memory for this particular column name. So every time whenever we are defining, character data, we need to define size. First, we need to allocate the memory for that particular column name, how many characters we are going to enter in that column. According to that size only, it will accept the characters. Okay. We will see about this practically also. Let's see if I am entering any 11 letter or 12 letter word, what error it is throwing also, I'll show you. Next, salary column. Sometimes we can expect decimal values also here, like 1.2 lakhs, 3.4 lakhs, like that, right? So for that, I'm giving float as a data type because float will accept normal numbers also as well as decimal numbers also. So better to use float in this scenarios, right? If I use int here, it will accept only numbers. If there is any, if I wanted to enter any decimal value, it won't accept, right? So to be on the safer side, I'm defining float here. For date of joining, obviously date data type, right? Like this. Am I clear? Let me write date table name within the brackets. I need to give how many columns I want, and for each column I need to define particular data type. Okay. This is our first table. Let me create this. I'm selecting this. I'm executing. You can see it got created successfully, right? And we can even see the table name here. To see the table name in this section, first we need to refresh here. This is the refresh icon. I'm just refreshing. Now you can see I got an expanding button for tables as well. I'm just expanding it. Now you can see I got employees here, the table which we created just now. And if I'm selecting here, you can find the same information in the information section. The table name is employees. We have columns like employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining, and particular data types, whatever we defined. Definitely every time we won't create all the tables, right? Someone will create tables and we will work on it. So anytime whenever we are working on any new table, we can just select from here and we can see the information from here. Even we have ER diagrams concept from where we can understand detailing about the tables, how they are related to each other. Going forward in that particular class, we will learn it. Okay. But this is a shortcut to see about how many columns are there, what are the data types for the columns. By just selecting like this in the information section, it will display. Okay. This is how we will create our table. Am I clear? Data types concept and creating tables concept.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. And about char and varchar and difference between them, I'll explain in the tomorrow's class. And we need to insert the data and we need to see the output also. I'll show that also maybe in a while if time permits. Yes, Manish. Actually, I wanted to show you the course content which we are going to cover now. And before that, yes, Manish, if you have any doubts, you can ask me.
Yes, ma'am. Uh, when you're showing that SQL interface, on left side there was schema.
Correct.
So, what is the difference between schema and a database?
It's not a big difference. Schema is nothing but we can consider as some folder. Usually in our systems, we will have some drives like D drive, E drive. Inside drives, we can find our folders, correct? Like this, inside D drive, we will have a folders like that. Schema is nothing but a drive where we can find the collection of databases inside. So below schemas, we can able to find all the databases, and inside database, we will generally have our tables like that. It's just a kind of a folder or a section, something like a drive, D drive or C drive, however we'll have like that. It's not a different thing. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So first, let me show you about the course content which we are going to cover in our course. So first, introduction to database and SQL, which we are done today. Okay. Limitations of Excel file. Maybe in couple of days I'll explain. Creation of database and tables. Almost we are done today. MySQL installation. Once we are done with our demo classes, I'll show you. And then data types in SQL. SQL commands and sublanguages. Okay. So next topic is SQL sublanguages. We have 5 sublanguages like DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and DQL. In each sublanguage, we have so many commands. We will learn everything very detailedly. And next, we have integrity constraints. That is nothing but we have so many keys here, like constraints here, like primary key, foreign key, not null constraint, um, and check constraint, unique constraint, default constraint, everything we will learn practically. Okay. Why we will use constraints, in which scenarios we will use which constraint. I'll discuss everything detailedly. So up to this concepts, I can say this is the very basics of SQL. So up to integrity constraints, I'll use normal tables, like it can be students table, orders table, employees table, to explain this concepts. And once we are done with this, the specialty of my coaching is that, my class is that I'll use a real-time database, a kind of a live database or real-time database called as it's a kind of movies database. Even we can consider that as an OTT platform database. Okay. So I'll show you that database. I'll explain you. I'll show you how to restore that database in your systems. And from next concept, we will work on that database only. Movies database, basically. We are going to work on movies database. It is a real-time database, so that anyways in companies will work on real-time databases. So in learning process only, if we work on that on such databases, we will get some hands-on experience in dealing with large volumes of data. Here we have so many tables, we have thousands of rows of data, so that we will work on the movies database. I'll show you this database, and then we will start the next concept. So the next concept is operators and clauses. We have so many operators and clauses in SQL. Okay, like where clause, order by clause, distinct clause, limit clause, all the clauses we will learn. And we have some operators like and, or, not. Okay, in operator, between operator, like operator. We will learn everything practically. And from this concept, we will learn everything very practically. We will learn so many examples on each and every concept, and all the examples we will form on this movies database only. Okay. And especially like operator is something which is used to find the pattern matching of the data. If it is not only data analytics, if it is full stack, everywhere this we can, it will be helpful. We can find, if we wanted to find any pattern matchings of the data, if we are trying to fetch any data based on any specific patterns, we will use this like operator. Okay, every concept is important here. And then functions, we have some inbuilt functions in SQL, like number function, character function, date function, aggregate function. In each of this type, we have so many functions. We will learn everything very practically. In this class, we will just understand about the functionality of them. How many, I mean, what is the use of that particular functions. But going forward, these functions will be used with any other concepts. Like in joins, we will use functions. In subqueries, we will use functions. Okay. In all other concepts, we will use these functions. Right. And the next important concept, that is join. I can say SQL is, as it's a backbone for complete IT industry. And I believe joins is the backbone for complete SQL. We will use joins very frequently in real time. Very important. Joins is nothing but, if we wanted to display data from multiple tables, we will use joins concept. We have so many joins here, like left inner join, left join, right join, full join. Okay, self join, cross join, natural join. Every join We will learn very practically. We will solve so many examples on them because this is very important concept. Okay, and in which scenarios we will use which join. Do we have any advantages in any particular join? Do we have any disadvantage in any particular join? And only for this concept, of course, we will learn so many examples on this movies database, but not only whatever examples I teach in class, only for joins, as this is important, I'll give some kind of practice questions or assignment questions for you. And I'll give some time like 1 week or 10 days. Whenever you get some free time, you can just try to solve them. Okay, it's just up to you. If you get time, you can just solve them. And after 10 days, I'll explain the solutions of that questions in the class so that you can recheck yourselves whether you can able to solve them or not. Okay. This concept I follow only for joins, not all the topics, because joins are important. Okay. Next, regular expression. Regular expression is one more advanced and important concept. It's same like operator. By using regular expression also, we can find pattern matchings of the data. Very important for any domain. Okay, we have so many anchors in regular expression. We will learn everything. And previously we saw we have clauses concept, right? Here we learned some clauses. Along with these clauses, we have some group by clause and having clause also. But learn these clauses in, to solve some good examples. If we understood joins concept, we can frame good examples on group by and having. That is the reason we will learn at this point of time after joins. Okay, we have group by clause, having clause, how we will use aggregate function inside group by clause. Okay, next subquery. Subqueries is nothing but if we write one query inside another query, we'll call it as a subquery. Why we will use subqueries? And we have so many types of subqueries like correlated subquery, non-correlated subquery, single row subquery, multi-row subquery, everything we will learn practically. Okay. Next, normalization, denormalization, normal forms. This is specifically if anyone is working as what we call data engineer, mostly data engineers will work on this. So definitely being SQL developers, we will work on the ready-made database. But before creating the database, before we are getting ready-made database, someone will create the database, right? Usually from client, we will get the raw data. Completely raw data we will get. So we need to clean the data first. And after cleaning the data, they will create the database. Okay. So how they will create the database, how the raw data, whatever we will get from the client, we'll call it that as a denormalized data. And the perfect database, whatever we will work in real time, we will call it as normalized data. So the process of converting denormalized data to normalized form, that is the process of converting raw data to a perfect database, how we will convert, how many steps are involved in between, what are the rules we will follow. Okay, everything we will learn very practically. I can bet no one will explain these concepts in detail. If in any other course, if you can see, they will explain only theory part, but here I'll take one real-time raw database, that is sales database, and I'll show you the step-by-step process in conversion of denormalized to normal form. In this process, we will follow, in converting denormalized data to normalized data, we will follow three normal forms, 1NF, 2NF, and 3NF. We will learn, we have some rules in each normal form. We will see everything very practically. And next, ER diagrams, and then views concept, indexes. These are all some important concepts. Temporary tables, very important. Usually temporary tables is nothing but if we have any duplicate data, how to remove all the duplicate data at a time. For that scenario, we will use temporary tables concept. Indexes, definitely to indexes concept is also very important to maintain our data in a perfect manner. Next, CTE, very advanced concept called as common table expression. Okay, this concept will also, you can't see in many of the other institutes. I'll explain very detailedly about the CTEs. Next, store procedure, one more advanced concept. Next, Windows function, one more advanced concept. We have so many 5 types of Windows functions. We will learn everything very detailedly. Okay, and at the end, I'll explain about interview questions as well. Okay, this is about our course content. And tomorrow, once again, we have demo class only. Let's continue from the today's topic in the tomorrow's class. Okay, I hope I'm clear till now. If you have any doubts, you can ask me, or else I'll just wind the session for now and let's meet in tomorrow's class. Mainly last, whatever I explained, like CTEs, temporary tables, store procedures, Windows function, all these are very advanced concepts. Especially nowadays, if you have some experience, like 4 or 5 years of experience, in every interview questions, you can expect at least one question about window functions and one questions about CTEs. Okay, we will discuss everything very detailedly. So in our course, starting from the scratch to the very advanced concept, I'm explaining everything. That too practically by solving everything on the real-time database. And one more specialty is that instead of giving some theory kind of notes, I'll give this notes only. Like, here only you can find the theory part, here only you can find the example, syntaxes, everything. I will upload this, SQL files only as a notes for you. And from the day you got registered, you will get the videos, live videos access till 6 months. And I'll upload these files also as notes for you. Okay. So this is about the course content, and tomorrow we'll continue the concepts. Okay. Any doubts? If there is any doubt, ask me, or else I'm having one more session at 7 o'clock. If everything is fine, let's meet tomorrow. Tomorrow is also a demo class. Just attend. Let's continue with the remaining concepts tomorrow. Okay. All right then. I think you don't have any doubts, and already admin people have shared the registration process in chat box. As you know, the course fees is only 3,000, and the course duration is of 35 days. And as you attended today's session, you will get an mail from our admin team where you can find the registration process in detail. If you like the session, you can just get register, or else tomorrow is also a demo class. Just attend that and you can learn something, some more. Okay, you can understand more detailedly about the remaining concepts tomorrow. All right, then let's meet in tomorrow's class. Bye.